Hey, what's up guys? How we doing? Welcome to Chris Notes. This is your Cliff Notes version of everything going on heading into Budds Creek. I'm going to break down the 450s and just talk a little bit, not a deep dive. I'm just talking about kind of some storylines, where they're at in the points, and how it's going to end up possibly this weekend. I'll touch on the 250s after that. And then for those of you who aren't completely burned out on Claimgate story, I'm going to give you just a bullet points of what happened, and so if somebody's talking about it, you know exactly what they're talking about. So anyway, if you guys want to get in shape, hit up Coach Rob Beams. It's at CompleteRacingSolutions.com. That's CompleteRacingSolutions.com. He's got programs for everybody. So they start at around $20-something a month. But yeah, he'll get you guys dialed in, and yeah. So let's get into this thing.
I'm in the empire business.
Everybody love everybody!
You all know exactly who I am.
All right, guys, the biggest news in my mind heading into the 450s at Budds Creek, besides the crazy battle between Eli Tomac and Chase Sexton, is that Antonio Cairoli is actually returning to the series. Crazy, right? He left, come back. I think he's getting ready for the designations, so we will see Antonio Cairoli join the rest of these guys. So, I mean, think about after... Well, we got Chase Sexton and Eli Tomac, and that's just the best battle ever. I can't remember ever seeing two guys at their best pushing each other to a level that neither of them probably thought they could ever go. I mean, they're going into deep, deep waters. So, yeah, it's fun to watch. And you got Jason Anderson, who's clearly the third best guy, and the way he's riding on any other season would be championship contender. Unfortunately, this year, we got two of the all-time greats now in Chase Sexton and Eli Tomac just sending it. Dylan Ferrandis, he came back at Unadilla, looked pretty good. He's still, you just can't get to that level where Eli and Chase are without being there and gradually getting pushed all year. So I wouldn't expect him to do much more than third or fourth. Ken Roczen, he's still struggling with some health issues. I did hear some interesting news about Ken Roczen, though. I heard there's a chance, so the reason he hasn't signed his Honda contract, from what I hear, is he's looking at this new, so the Butler Brothers team split, shut down, whatever you want to call it. Rocky Mountain went with the guy who was supposed to partner with Forrest Butler. This team is trying to put it together with KTMs. I believe Roczen might be their guy. They just got to iron it all out. So he could be on a KTM, he could be on a Rocky Mountain KTM. So that might be interesting. Christian Craig coming back from that big crash at Unadilla where people said he was concussed. Gosh, I wish guys would just sit out when they're concussed. I understand he's trying to get on the designations team, but it's not safe for him. It's not safe for the other riders. If you're concussed, somebody in their camp, not the guy that got concussed, you can't count on him to sit out because these guys are warriors. They're not going to. You need someone else to sit them down. So, Dungey. I don't think Ryan Dungey is going to get his podium this year. His best opportunity was Washougal, and unfortunately he had a bike malfunction. We'll see what happens, but it's going to take some serious luck to get him on the podium. But gosh, I know he wants it so bad, and I think almost every fan wants it for him. Justin Barcia has just not looked good this year. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know if it's the bike. I don't know where he's at in his career as far as that goes. But he looked like he had a bit of fire when he was trying to get on the designations team. Unfortunately, that's gone, and now it looks like he's just kind of going through the motions. Aaron Plessinger, he's getting better and better, and he really needs it. Sorry, guys, I'm battling a bit of a cold. Yeah, he's getting better and better. But, yeah, he's got one more year on the contract, and he needs to do something next year. This year, as long as he gets through the rest of the season healthy and just comes into the offseason and just builds, I think he's in a good place. Joey Savacci, guy's been riding absolutely phenomenal. Coming into the season really quick after a torn ACL, has done nothing but good for that Kawasaki team. I really hope they find a way to put him on it for next year. Shane McElrath on his second team, third team of the year, second team of the outdoor season with Club MX. Club MX is a great team, great bike, but it's got to be hard jumping in right in the middle. Let's not forget, he rode Budds Creek to a 1-1 in his 250 days out of nowhere. So he rides this track good. I think we're going to see some good stuff out of him. I think we're going to see a much better Malcolm Stewart this weekend. Malcolm probably, I bet he breaks top 10. And then Garrett Marchbanks, he'll be battling right there with those guys around that top 10 range. So, all right, guys, if you want a badass garage, hit up epicgaragedesigns.com. They got flooring, slat wall. If you really want to make your garage look cool, add some slat wall. Make that thing look clean. So anyway, guys, now let's get into the 250s. The Lawrence brothers had their worst race of the year at Unadilla, which only resulted in 3rd place for Hunter, 4th place for Jet. It is their world. It is their championship. One of those two guys will be the number one, most likely Jet. He's got a 26-point lead. That's kind of the magic number. You want to have 26 points. That way, if there is a bike failure and Hunter wins, then they're tied. Or, I'm sorry, there's 1 point ahead. I forget that it's not the same as Supercross. 25 points. So 25 points is the magic number. And once he hits that 25-point tie, he owns the tiebreaker with wins. So once he has that, that's a comfortable lead. I think it's going to go better. I think he's going to win this weekend. Jet will. Hunter will be right there. But gosh, he can't seem to do. He tries so hard, but it's just not quite. It's just not his year. Joe Schmoda got his 2nd win of the year. He's proved if the Lawrence brothers falter at all, he's right there to capitalize and earn it. Like, he's a badass. And I mean, he's beat Hunter straight up a few times. I don't think he's beat Jet straight up, but if Jet makes mistakes, he capitalizes, and that's part of it. Justin Cooper. Since his foot has gotten better and he's kind of established that he wants to be on the Designations team, riding much better. He's won the 2nd moto at Washougal, won the 2nd moto at Unadilla, and he is going to be battling for a win here at Budds Creek. RJ Hampshire, your guess is as good as mine. Max Voland needed this so bad to get up front. He needed to build on his career. He was in a bad spot where he was sliding backwards. Now he's building back forward, and that's what he needed so bad. Look for him to be right around the top 5. Seth Hammacker. Unfortunately, after that nasty, nasty crash at Unadilla, Seth Hammacker's somewhat okay. He's sitting out again this weekend, just kind of almost precautionary. But he plans on being back for Ironman. Let's see. Gosh, I got to go through a bunch of these guys in the points that are already out. Kitchen, Mosman, Robertson. They're 8, 9, 10, and they're all out in the series. Let's see. Nate Thrasher, he came back, was top 10. Pierce Brown has shown speed, but just cannot keep it off the ground. Derek Kelly, he's been a nice surprise. He's running up there right around that top 10 range and really giving some of these factory kids a hard time. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for the 250s heading into Budds Creek. Now I'll just give you a little quick rundown. For those of you that don't know about the biggest story in the industry, Claimgate, or the Deegan claim, or whatever you want to call it, here's just a little quick synopsis of what happened. Brennan Schofield, he's an amateur, race B in Schoolboy from Canada, got into an incident with Hayden Deegan at Southwick. Hayden took him out, or they ran into each other, however you want to see it. I thought it was a racing incident, but I also thought Hayden should have been more patient because he's much faster and could have easily made a clean move. So Brennan's pissed. He happens to find out in the rule book that you can claim a bike. He wants a star bike. He saves up his money, gets Loretta's, claims Hayden Deegan's bike. Yes, he wanted a star bike, but yes, he also probably wanted to give a big FU to Hayden Deegan for what happened at Southwick. And once he did this, it set into a chain of events that got really bad. So instead of giving up the bike, apparently Star had some factory equipment in there, and they did not want to give this thing up. It starts going bad when Tim Cotter, MX Sports official, has Brennan in a room by himself with him, Brian Deegan, and Tim Cotter. They asked him 3 questions over and over and over. It's anywhere between 5 minutes and 20 minutes, depending on who you talk to about how long he was in there being interrogated. Either way, that shouldn't have happened. That's a mistake. Then they corrected it, and AMA said, no, you're all good. It's all done. Later on that night, Brennan's trainer, who he works with at MX Factory, whatever it is, Matt Walker's place, calls him to the pits, texts him. He texted him. He lied. He said that he yelled at him on the cart. No, he actually texted him. I saw the text message. But Walker tends to lie a lot. I talked to him on the phone. And he gave me a completely separate story from the 2 interviews he just did. He's completely full of shit. He's probably the biggest villain in this whole thing. And he kind of duped me, and I felt bad for him. He sounded like he was going to cry on the phone, told me he was going through some personal problems, but apparently he was just trying to manipulate me. It worked because I was kind to him, and I didn't throw him under the bus. But what he did is probably worse than anything anyone else did. He set up Brendan to come back there and be essentially ambushed by Donnie Luch from Yamaha And then he got a hold of the kid's sponsor, brought the sponsor over there, really put Brennan in a bad spot. Brennan withdraws the claim because of pressure from his sponsor. That's the one that really got him, because he didn't want to piss off his sponsor. Nobody wants to piss off their sponsor. And from there, his sponsor dropped him anyway, which is complete bullshit. He's no longer working with Matt Walker. Smart move in my opinion. Matt Walker, turns out, wants to get into race promoting, and so he's doing this to try and be, in good graces with MX Sports so he can get some qualifiers for Loretta's and get his track going and make some money that way. So everyone's in it for their own interests. When in reality, Brennan should just get the bike, period. He should have just got the bike. You can be pissed. Nobody's happy when you have a claim rule, but it's the rule. Don't bring a factory bike to an amateur event. So anyway, this cover-up is embarrassing for Yamaha. It's embarrassing for MX Sports. It's embarrassing for the Degans. And it really shows some of these other media outlets who are trying to cover for these organizations are complete bullshit. So yeah, when you see these guys covering for them, just know they're part of the problem. So thanks, guys, and I will catch you guys later. If you need anything for your ATV, UTV, hit up Revolution Off-Road. That's revolutionor.com. They got belts, tires, and everything else you need. And don't forget, Saturday, after practice, I'll be doing the live show, live prediction show, where I chat with you guys, and that's my favorite show of the week. So yeah, shortly after practice is done on air, just jump on YouTube and I'll be there. So thanks, guys. Catch you later.